Okay, you're with us for, well, a pretty seismic moment in the Champions League this season. Real Madrid are out.
Yeah, and not just out, but convincingly beaten by Arsenal.
Exactly. That 1-2 defeat at home sealed it, making it 5-1 on aggregate. Ouch.
A big scoreline, definitely.
We know you want the key insights fast, so in this deep dive, we're digging through all the noise, the commentary, the analysis, fan reactions to get to the heart of what went wrong for Madrid and right for Arsenal.
It really was a surprising result for many, and the reaction's been strong.
No kidding. So let's jump right in.
Well, the first thing that really leaps out from all the sources is just how comprehensive that Arsenal win was.
Right. Over 2 legs, 5-1.
Yeah, and against a Madrid side many expected to go through, it suggests something significant happened. And a major theme seems to be Real Madrid's attacking approach, or maybe the lack of one.
Let's talk about that attack, because the picture painted is, well, pretty one-dimensional, isn't it? It was just crosses, crosses, crosses.
There's so many crosses. Some estimates put it at, 30 or 40 in that second leg alone.
And similar in the first leg, too. The analysis called them frontal balls, basically just hopeful punts into the box.
Which, Saliba and Kiwior for Arsenal seem pretty happy to deal with time after time.
So why stick with it? Why just keep launching it in there when it clearly wasn't working?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Was it a lack of ideas? Or maybe just an underestimation of how good those Arsenal center backs are in the air?
It felt predictable. And that stat, just 3 shots on target for Madrid when they needed 3 goals, really tells the story.
It absolutely does. It underlines just how little threat they actually posed, despite all that, territorial pressure. Where was the plan B? The attempt to play through the middle.
Which brings us to Ancelotti, I guess. The team selection, the tactics. You look at the midfield.
Yeah, Bellingham, Tchouaméni, Valverde started. Creative players like Modric, Ceballos, they were on the bench.
Right. And the sources point out Bellingham was making runs that kind of clashed with Mbappe's space, made things easier for Arsenal to track.
And Tchouaméni, usually so composed, seemed a bit lost organizationally. Valverde, loads of energy as always, but not really unlocking anything. He even ended up at right back.
It sort of makes you wonder as a listener, okay, your main tactic, the crossing, isn't working. What's the adjustment? How fast does it come?
And the sources suggest those changes from Ancelotti came late and didn't really change the pattern.
Which seems to be fueling a lot of the fan frustration we're seeing. This feeling of tactical rigidity.
Definitely. And also a sense that the attitude wasn't quite right. Ancelotti himself mentioned a lack of collective attitude compared to last year.
So it wasn't just the plan, maybe. The individual performances, they also seem to be under the microscope. Mbappe, for instance.
Yeah, huge expectations, obviously. But the word cropping up everywhere is disappointment.
Across both legs, really. Didn't seem to have that usual spark, and then picked up that injury in the second game, ankle sprain, maybe?
Could be. And the analysis of that second leg is pretty stark for him. Won just over half his duels, 0 shots on target, only 1 successful dribble.
For Mbappe, that's not what you expect, is it?
Not at all. No, you could argue Arsenal's defensive shape, maybe a compact 4-4-2 they dropped into, limited his space effectively.
True. And if the plan is just get it wide, maybe he was isolated, not getting the ball where he could really hurt them?
It's a fair point. It could be a mix of his performance and the tactical setup not playing to his strengths.
Then there's Vinicius. Okay, he got the goal, pounced on that Saliba mistake.
Yeah, you have to give him credit for being alert there.
But overall, lots of dribble attempts, sure, something like 11 out of 16.
Yeah.
But did they consistently create danger? Sources suggest maybe not.
And his passing accuracy was apparently quite low too, around 39%.
And Rodrigo on the other side, pretty much anonymous in the first leg and didn't add much in the second either.
So the whole front line just seemed disconnected, lacking that cutting edge.
And it wasn't much better at the back for Madrid, was it?
No, the analysis highlights issues there too. The flanks looked vulnerable, Vasquez and Alaba getting some criticism.
Asensio giving away that penalty, a clear error. Rudiger tried things, stepping into midfield sometimes, but defensively. 5 goals conceded over 2 legs.
It speaks for itself, really. Courtois' penalty save was like the one bright spot defensively.
But ultimately, not enough. And all this inevitably puts the focus right on Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah, some of the commentary is pretty blunt. Suggestions that maybe his time should be up, regardless of the Copa del Rey or La Liga.
And the fans seem to be echoing that, don't they? Phrases like fin de ciclo, end of cycle, and Ancelotti fuera, Ancelotti up.
There's a definite sense of frustration, a feeling the team lacks soul, lacks a clear attacking idea beyond those crosses, maybe lacks a proper number 9.
Some fans even calling out Mbappe and Vinicius specifically, though Courtois gets praise. Interestingly, some mentioned Asensio positively too, despite the penalty maybe.
It's a mixed bag of reactions, but the overall tone is definitely one of disappointment and a call for change.
Okay, so let's flip the coin. Arsenal. Because the contrast is pretty stark when you look at the sources.
Absolutely. The praise for their defensive organization is almost universal. A masterclass, some called it.
They just looked so disciplined, didn't they? Both in open play and especially dealing with all those crosses.
Yeah, and the way they handled Vinicius Jr. was key. Timber, often helped out by Saka, did a really effective job tracking him.
So much so that David Raya, the Arsenal keeper, didn't actually have that much to do across the two games.
Which, considering the amount of ball Madrid had, especially in the second leg, really tells you how well that defense marshaled the threats.
While Madrid's stars may be faded under pressure, Arsenal seemed to step up. Declan Rice, for example.
Oh, huge praise for Rice. A spectacular tie, a memorable second leg. His reading of the game, his dominance in midfield, really crucial.
He was everywhere, wasn't he? Snuffing out attacks.
Exactly. And Odegaard, too. Maybe a bit quieter in the second leg because of the game state, but still showed his class on the ball, his personality.
Okay, he missed a penalty, but he scored that vital first goal with a brilliant touch.
A marvelous touch, yeah. And his defensive work rate shouldn't be overlooked either, helping Timber out on that right flank.
That was really noticeable.
And tactically, you have to mention Mikel Merino playing like a pressing forward role.
Ah, yes. Forcing Courtois along, getting the assist for Saka's goal. The first defender, as one source put it.
That set the tone, really. Martinelli got the winner in the second leg, worked hard down the left. Saliba and Kiwior, despite that one error from Saliba, were mostly rock solid against the aerial bombardment.
Kiwior stepping in for Gabriel looked really assured, too.
And even the youngster, Luis Skelly, apparently impressed when he came on, showed some personality carrying the ball. Thomas Partey managed things well in midfield, too.
So, across the board, strong performances. And pulling the strings, Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, he's getting massive credit in the sources. His whole tactical plan over the two legs is being hailed as, like, a consecratory moment, a real masterstroke.
The contrast with Madrid's approach seems to be the main narrative. Arsenal looked like they had a clear, effective plan. Madrid, less so.
And the result, winning both legs, 5-1 aggregate, it just backs that up completely. No arguments there. Arsenal were superior.
So for you, the listener, the big takeaway here seems to be this clear divergence. Madrid, maybe stuck in their ways, predictable, individuals not firing.
Versus Arsenal, who were defensively superb, tactically smart, and had their key players delivering when it mattered most. That scoreline really reflects the difference over 180 minutes.
Which leaves us with a pretty big question to chew on as we wrap up this deep dive. You look at this result, you hear the fan reaction. What needs to change at Real Madrid?
Is this just a blip, or does it signal something more fundamental, perhaps, the end of a particular cycle for them?
It's definitely food for thought. And looking ahead, the Champions League rolls on. We've got Arsenal now facing PSG and Barcelona versus Inter, some tasty semifinals lined up.